morning to one and all. Dear students, we are continuing the first video as part second. The topic is reproduction in organism. We studied asexual reproduction up to gametes formation. In asexual reproduction, the other part which remained, number one, fragmentation, two, regeneration, three, vegetative propagation. We have to come up with these three parts of the asexual reproduction. Now, the first part of asexual reproduction, fragmentation. Fragmentation means the breakdown or breaking of vegetative body into different parts or fragments, where each fragment of body part act as independent new individual. Therefore, the formation of new individual from any fragment of individual body or parent body is called fragmentation. It is commonly seen among the lower organisms such as planaria. In case of planaria, the planaria is cut into three pieces. It means that planaria will develop into new individuals like that. So this type of reproduction is called fragmentation. It is also seen among the plants. The plants having thallus-like structure such as algae and bryophytes also show fragmentation. When their body break into pieces, each piece functions as a new individual. Now, the next part of asexual reproduction is regeneration. Here, regeneration means regaining the lost part of body. It is commonly seen in some of the organisms. If they lost their certain part of body, they reappears again. This phenomenon is called regeneration. If you remember, in case of lizard that fall its tail, that regenerate once again. But there are some organisms when they break their body parts into fragments and each fragment regenerate into new individual, such as lower vertebrates. Such as among the lower vertebrates we can protochordates and cephalochordates. They have this tendency to produce whole body from the lost part. Similar in lower organisms from the phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora up to Platyhelminthes, they also can regenerate whole body if any part of body remain. The best example of regeneration seen among Acetobularia. In case of Acetobularia, it is seen it break into fragment. The part of body which have nucleus that regenerate into new individual. So this process of reproduction is called regeneration. It is seen in both plants and animals. Further, we are proceeding to another type of asexual reproduction which is very common among the plants. It is called vegetative propagation. Here, vegetative propagation means the production of from the vegetative part. Now, if we see higher plants as well as lower plants, they produce their new individuals from the body which grow into pieces. Now, some of the methods of vegetative propagation, they are natural methods or some of them the artificial methods. Now here I am talking about the vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. It is two types. Number one, natural, and second, artificial. In natural, the production of new individual from the parts. Number one, we can say by roots. There are some plants they produce from the roots. For example, sweet potato. Now, another type is called by stem. In stem, there are several types of stems. The underground stem, they undergo production of their own kind. Now we call number one tuber in case of potato. Number second we call rhizome in case of ginger. Suppose number three we call runner. Example, cynodon. Suppose we undergo sucker. We call it the sucker mint. Further, more of examples. One of the examples is called bryophyllum. The new plant producing bryophyllum from the leaves. These are the some of the natural methods of vegetative propagation. But we can use plants for our economic value. For that, we can make them artificially by using certain techniques. There are three types of artificial methods of vegetative propagation. Number one, by cutting, when we take a small piece of any twig of the plant, we can place it on the soil, we moist it, and that will generate into new plant or that will produce a new plant. This is called cutting. It is very common in case of rose. Now, second is grafting. In grafting, we select two parts of different plants. One part which has healthy root system is called stalk, and another part which has healthy fruit value or apical part that we call scion. Both are cut in such a way that cambium means the meristematic tissue of both linked together in such a way the supply continues. Both stalk and scion join together and they form a new individual which have characters of a healthy root system and the upper part, apical part is healthy shoot system. Healthy shoot system gives better productivity. So by this method, we can produce new individuals of our choice, which have economic value. The third method in artificial vegetative propagation is layering. Layering means any twig of plant go down to the soil and covered with mud, it produces its root system that may detach from the parent plant and act as a new individual, commonly found in chrysanthemums. Now, layering again is two types. Number one, mound layering. It is carried under the soil on the surface. In the type of layering is called air layering, which occur on the plant twigs. The products of layering also give the characteristics of parent plant. But in case of grafting, the new plant head or new individual head characters of two combined organisms or two combined plants. Cutting also giving the characters of the parent plant. We call them cutting and layering are the methods to generate monotrophic plants. But grafting is the method to generate a new plant with variable characters. All three have economic value. The cutting and layering commonly used for ornamental purpose, while grafting is commonly used for economic purposes. So these are different methods of asexual reproduction among the plants or other organisms. Here very important thing is what is the significance of asexual reproduction. So we call them where asexual reproduction occurs. My topic is significance of asexual reproduction. It means what is the use, benefit of asexual reproduction. In this topic we can say the asexual reproduction is direct method to produce new individual. It is important for the plants which lack seeds. Or not having viable seeds. Now, another significance we can say it is method to produce clones. And clones are in better appearance. Number three, it is commonly used for ornamental significance. And number four, we call them, we want higher productivity, so they are commonly used higher productivity of fruits. Now, very important thing is here, the asexual reproduction in plants is called vegetative propagation. Why asexual reproduction in plant is called vegetative propagation? It means the plants have its body called vegetative body, and that vegetative body can produce the individual. Therefore, it is called vegetative propagation. In this way, we could finish asexual reproduction among the organisms. There, just I am revising. Number one, fission. 2, budding. 3, spore formation. 4, baby formation. 5, fermentation. 6, regeneration. But among the plants, it is called vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is two types, natural and artificial. The natural vegetative propagation occurs through roots or stem or leaves or flowers, while artificial vegetative propagation can be carried by cuttings, graftings, and layering. All these methods, whatever we discussed, they come under the asexual reproduction. Here are the certain significances which I listed here. In this way, we could finish one part of this chapter, asexual reproduction. We'll further proceed. The next part of this chapter we are continuing, and that is sexual reproduction. That is sexual reproduction. Here we can define it. The involvement of sex organs. To produce their gamete. They fertilize together. To form new individual. So we can define in four terms. What do you mean by sexual reproduction? We can define like that. A type of reproduction where involvement of sex organ occur. Now, there are two types of sex organ. Male sex organ and female sex organ. All the individuals have their sex organs starting from all animals to all plants. These sex organs in lower organisms or plants called Antheridia and Archegonia. But in higher organisms such as human, they are called testes and ovary. These sex organs produce their gametes. In case of lower organisms, the Antheridia will produce male gamete called anthrozoid, and Archegonia will produce female gamete called egg. These gametes fuse together is called fertilization. Fertilization means fusion of male and female gametes, and the product is called zygote. Zygote have characters of both, and that zygote develops into new individual. The entire process comes under the sexual reproduction. Now, we can describe sexual reproduction in the form of different events. There are three events of sexual reproduction. First event is called pre-fertilization event. In pre-fertilization event, how the individuals undergo different changes to perform sexual reproduction before fertilization. Fertilization, I told just you, the fusion of male and female gamete. Before that, they undergo certain activities. What are these activities? Pre-fertilization events. The first activity is called gamete formation. And second activity which is carried in this event is gamete transfer. So, in the first event, that is pre-fertilization event, we call into two phases or two steps. The first step of pre-fertilization event is gamete formation. A second step is gamete transfer. Now first we will take gamete formation. Gamete formation is a process of production of male and female gametes. We call it as a simple term gametogenesis. Gametogenesis means development of male gametes from male sex organ, female gametes from female sex organ is during the process called gametogenesis. Now, these gametes may be identical to each other we call isogametes, or may not be identical to each other, we call them anisogametes, or may be totally different from each other, we call them oogametes. So there are three types of gametes. They may be number one isogametes, means they are identical to each other. Number second, anisogametes, they are dissimilar to each other. And number three, oogametes, they are totally distant from one another. Just I am citing the example. In case of Chlamydomonas, both male and female gametes are identical. If you remember yesterday, I have put in the structure of Chlamydomonas. The Chlamydomonas have male and female gametes. Both are identical. Both identical gametes fuse together and they form zygote. Means how they will form zygote? We look at this place. Now, one of the male gamete, another of the male gamete, and in this way they fuse together. We can call like this. In this way they come close together. Male gamete or female gamete. Both come in such a way, they close together and they form a zygote. And this type of reproduction called isogamous or isogametes. This type of isogamous, in which same type of gametes fuse together. Just I'm reminding the topic. The gamete formation is called gametogenesis. The gametes are formed on three types. They may be isogametes, or anisogametes, or oogametes. The isogametes are identical in their shape and size. For example, Chlamydomonas, each have their gametes identical to each other. Both identical gametes come close together. This one is the male and this one is the female. They come close together. In this way they fuse together. Ultimately they produce a zygote. And this zygote is called produced new individual by meiosis cell division. Here we have a meiosis cell division, and this type of reproduction is called isogamous. Just my topic is here, the formation of gametes. So gametes are formed of three types. Number one, isogametes in Chlamydomonas. Similarly, number two, anisogametes, where the gametes are dissimilar in size. One is smaller and the other is larger. And now we can see in case of fucus. In example for the anisogamete is the fucus. Just that. Now I am talking about the anisogametes, in which one gamete have small structure and another gamete have large structure. They have both different sizes, but we cannot tell which is male or which is female. We cannot distinguish, but only size is different. In that case, we call anisogametes. Now, it is simplified fucus. It is a type of algae. Now, third category of oogametes. In oogametes, what happens? The male gametes are sperm, and female gamete Now, in case of human, we can look them like this. A sperm have structure or a ovum have structure. They are different in look as well as in sex. That's why they are called two gametes. So we can call gamete formation is called gametogenesis. And these gametes are three types. And these are called isogametes, anisogametes, and oogametes. But basically we call them in two types. Those they form only a type identical or we can identical gametes called homogametes, and which are not identical, they are called not identical called heterogametes. So here the isogametes are homogametes and anisogametes and oogametes are heterogametes. In this way, the first part of pre-fertilization event, gamete formation or gametogenesis, represent three types of their gametes. It is not complete here itself. We will proceed further. When the gametes are formed, then they indicate the sexuality of organism. The organisms are two types on the basis of sexuality. Number one, unisexual. Unisexual means the organisms they are either male or female since birth. Either male or female since birth. Then they are called unisexual. Say human being, they are unisexual. Say date palm, they are unisexual. Say papaya plant is unisexual. The male plant is different from the female plant. They are called unisexual. But there are some organisms, they have male sex and female sex on same plant but at different locations. Such condition is called monoecious. Monoecious means male sex organ, female sex organs are located on the same plant or same individual but at different locations. And such type of individuals placed under the second category called bisexual. The bisexual plants, they have male and female both parts together, may be present on the same plant or may be present together in same flower. Therefore, we call flowering plants which have flowers with both male and female parts, they are bisexual flower. But there are certain bisexual plants such as cucumber which have male flower different from the female flower but plant is same. In cucumber, the male flower said will not survive but female flower produce cucumber, and therefore such type of individuals called monoecious. Now we distinguish here. Bisexual means same, both male and female organs present in same position, same flower. So we call them bisexual. But here there are some organisms, they have both male and female sex organs but at different locations. Just I told you cucumber, they are called monoecious. Very what do you mean by monoecious here? The best example is cucumber, pumpkin. Now, another term is also given for unisexual, that is called dioecious. The unisexual organism is also called dioecious. Dioecious means the male and female individuals are separate. I told you earlier, we cannot say it is male or female since birth. But when they turn into reproductive phase, they produce male parts on the other plant and female parts on the other plant. Such type of individuals which cannot be distinguished as male and female since birth, later when they attain reproductive phase, they can be distinguished as male and female, and such individuals are called dioecious. Dioecious is different from unisexual. All unisexual are not dioecious, but dioecious have their vegetative body identical. You cannot say male or female, but reproductive body have its different parts on the different body. So they are called dioecious. Best example of dioecious is Markensia. In Markensia, the male part is called Envidiophore. Just I am giving a diagram for Markensia. It is a Markensia thallus, and it will be a male part in the form of Envidiophore. Whereas female part is giving Artigoniophore. So we can tell about the Markensia, it is dioecious, because in the beginning when there was no sex organ, you cannot distinguish which is male, which is female. But after attaining the reproductive parts, we can call it is male, and we call it is female. Before that we fail to tell them. Therefore, the dioecious are the organism which identical during vegetative phase, but distinguished as male and female. I think you got the part. So we can say, what is the sexuality in organism? There are two types of sexuality, unisexual organism and bisexual organism. We call them, some of the unisexuals are dioecious and some of the bisexuals are monoecious. Both the term I explained well. Now, it is the first event, pre-fertilization event, first part, and that we call it gametogenesis. Now, another event which is hidden here, meiosis cell division, during gamete formation. It means the gametes formed by meiosis cell division in diploid organism. But in haploid organism, there is no meiosis, but mitosis cell division occurs for gamete formation. So, the meiosis cell division is not common for gamete formation. But you must know what do you mean by haploid, what do you mean by diploid. We can distinguish it like that. If you take any tissue or cell on a slide, then you watch under the microscope. When you will watch under the microscope, you will find the cell may have its nucleus. The nucleus you will are called haploid. Now we take in the slide, we put in the blood and we put the tissue on the slide and we'll watch under the microscope and we'll find the cells. The cells have nucleus. In the nucleus, the chromosomes are in pair. When the chromosomes are in pair, they are called diploid. Now, who is haploid and who is diploid? You must know them. Who is haploid? Now, we call them haploids are algae, fungi, bryophytes, and drones of honeybee. Or colonial insect. Now, which diploid? The diploids are bryophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, and all animals. They are diploid. So you can say the cell division is meiosis among the bryophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, and animals during gamete formation. Then you can say the mitosis cell division in algae, fungi, and bryophytes and honeybees. Now these are produced by mitosis cell division. These are produced by meiosis cell division. So we can say meiosis cell division is not common for all the organisms. Now we could study very important 3 points. What is different type of gametes? Second, what is sexuality? Unisexual and bisexual, monoecious and dioecious. And third, just we studied the type of cell division which occur. The mitosis cell division among the haploids, the meiosis cell division among the diploids. The haploids are algae, fungi, bryophytes, and drones are colonial insects, while the diploids are trilophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm, and all the animals. So we can tell who is haploid, who is diploid on the basis of this list. And how we identify? I just give you an experiment. On the basis of this study, you can easily tell about the pre-fertilization event of gametogenesis. It is only the first part. Pre-events of, we are studying the pre-fertilization events. In pre-fertilization event, the first part is gametogenesis. In the gametogenesis, we could study 3 things. The second event, second part of the event, we just be studying is the gamete transfer. It means how male gametes are carried to the female sex organ. There are 3 methods of gamete transfer. If you remember, the simplest first method, already you know, very common among the animals, insemination. The male introduces its semen into the female tract. Second method of gamete transfer is water medium. Most of the plants which live in water, aquatic plants, or those are amphibian plants, they travel their many gametes in water. And third category comes under the flowering plant is the pollination. So these are the 3 methods of gamete transfer. Number 1, insemination, commonly found in the animals. Number 2, water medium. commonly occur in the aquatic and amphibious organism, and third, pollination. On the basis of gamete transfer, we call them two types of fertilization. They are external fertilization and internal fertilization. We will study in the next topic. The second topic is what is fertilization. Now, among the sexual reproduction, the coming event is fertilization. Here, fertilization means fusion of male and female gamete. The male gamete may be embryonic or sperm. They are male gametes. The female gametes may be the egg or ovum or oocyte. They are female gametes. Both fused together, the product is called zygote. So the gametes are haploid, zygote is diploid. How can you see them? If you put under the slide, under the microscope, they will represent the same condition. If the chromosomes not in pair, they are haploid. If the chromosomes are in pair, they are diploid. You can easily identify. If we put zygote in the slide, it will represent the chromosomes are in pair. If we put any sperm or any male gamete or egg in the slide, it will show only single set of chromosomes. In this way, we can identify using microscopic studies. Now, the last topic of this chapter is post-fertilization events. After fertilization, when zygote is formed, it undergoes post-fertilization events. Means after fertilization, what will happen? So what happens? It is embryogenesis. What is the event? Embryogenesis means development of zygote into embryo. Then what is embryo? Embryo is a initial stage of organism. Now, if we see the plant group, in plant group, the embryo will develop into the seeds, and seeds are having this embryo either in the form of dicote or in the form of monocot. Means it has single cotyledon or two cotyledon. Now, if you remember, the ovules in class name is ovules form seed, and the ovary form fruit. The seeds are present within the fruit, and these seeds have embryo, and that embryo produces new individual. This process is called embryogenesis. So indirectly we can say after fertilization the event is called embryogenesis. This embryogenesis means development of zygote into embryo. These embryo in plants are two types, dicot embryo and monocot embryo. In dicot embryo there are two cotyledons, where in monocot embryo only single cotyledon. Many more characters are there to distinguish between them, but here we only know the embryogenesis. The ovules which are present in the ovary, they develop into seed, and seeds have embryo, while the ovary itself develop into fruit, and such fruits are called true fruits. Now, if you go among the animals, the embryogenesis in animals again in two types. We call here the animals. In case of animals, the embryogenesis is called, some of the animals of the lower animals, they are oviparous. Oviparous means they are egg-laying. Means they produce their egg into some medium such as water. And these gametes means eggs, they are gametes, female gametes, they fall into the water medium. At the same time, the male individual also is spawn their male gametes in water. This type of both the gametes come in contact in water medium, and that is called external fertilization. It means their embryo will develop outside the body in the water, and such type of development of embryo is called indirect development. And indirect development individuals called oviparous individuals. So one thing came in our mind here, what are oviparous individuals? These are lying eggs. Where do lie? They lie in water. Why? Because their fusion occurs outside the body, collection and fertilization. They develop embryo in the water, and that embryo will go into different stages. If you remember, the insects have 4 stages of embryo development: eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. And therefore, this development is called indirect development. If you see, in case of other organisms, they are called viviparous. Viviparous means they are giving birth to the baby. Say human being, where the eggs and ovum or ovum and sperm fertilize within the body of female. The new individual develop within the body of female. And this type of fertilization is called internal fertilization. And such type of product is limited in number. If you go on the entire content of post-fertilization events, that is embryogenesis in plants, produce seeds and fruits. Embryogenesis in animals also produce their products either inside the body or outside the body. If they produce inside the body, they are called oviparous, or they are viviparous. If the outside the body, they are called oviparous. Most of the animals and some of the plants, they are oviparous. And some of the animals and most of the plants, they are viviparous. Here viviparous means development of embryo within the body of female. Now we can say, with the entire content of the chapter, there are different ways of reproduction in organism. The first way I told the asexual reproduction of different type, and second way that I told the sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction we study different events, and in this way we could reach at the end of this chapter, reproduction in organisms.